Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk.
All right, couple up. 20 seconds.
First African president of the United States of America, President Barack Obama.
Good to see you. I just want to say everybody back home, right back at you. We appreciate you. You always give us straight talk.
And welcome to Straight Talk. Well, Straight Talk, as you know, is the program that you look to for information. And tonight we have a little information from a Blog Talk Radio. Bernard.
Hello, how you doing?
Bernard, tell us what you do with Blog Talk.
I co-host a football podcast based on Blog Talk Radio during the football season, where we concentrate on the NFC North. Yes, I'm a Bears fan, so we get to crack jokes on our team, and we get to celebrate from time to time. We're available on Blog Talk Radio network, but there are some people that choose to listen to us on their TuneIn app on their phones or the podcast app on the iPhone. But we enjoy talking about the teams from a fan's perspective. Yes, we do get access and get to go to the training camps like your CBS, your ESPN, your NBC Sports, but we talk about it from the fans aspect.
When those 2 months are up, what do you do here?
Oh, see, he's got jokes. Well, we talk about the entire NFC North. So we get even as Bears.
How many months is that?
Technically, from August through, if you include the Super Bowl, through February.
Okay.
And one thing that football fans have learned, the NFL season is almost year-round, but what we choose to do, since it's from a fan's perspective, and we have different fun things that we will do. We have a fantasy football league this year that allows some of our listeners to participate in the same league. For fun things that we have done, we had a random show called the Barbecue Draft. Instead of drafting players, we drafted food. For Thanksgiving, we had the Thanksgiving draft.
Did you hear the food that he chose, folks? Barbecue. What is that?
A good, you name it, whatever you can fit on a grill, we were drafting it. From
Banana?
side dishes to things that go on the grill. Huh?
Banana? Apple? Orange?
Yeah. Those things were drafted, but there wasn't any limitations to
But
what
they
you
won't
could
go on the grill, right?
I've put bananas on a grill. I've put apples on a
I'm
grill.
talking about real bananas. I'm not talking about those big, what do you call them? What do you call those?
Plantains.
Plantains, yeah.
I've put that on a grill too.
That's right. That's what goes on the grill, not a regular
Those
banana.
aren't bananas, those are plantains.
Okay, all right. She's teaching me something. I'm going to move from you for a second. Erica,
Hi.
how are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure.
I appreciate
Tell
it.
us about the ministry. Erica is a youth minister, youth pastor at her church, and she deals with the youth.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about it, Erica.
Well, I'm a youth pastor alongside my husband Isaac at All Nations Worship Assembly. It's in Chicago on 60th and Champlain. It's absolutely amazing. We serve the inner city youth as well as, youth and parents that comes from the south suburbs as well.
Okay, what do you do when you say serving? What do you do?
Well, we have life groups. We have services once every first Friday of the month. But outside of the services, we don't really gear to just preaching at them all the time, but we have life groups where they talk about real life situations. We have youth that have dealt with molestation. They have dealt with so many things in the home, at school. So the life group is where they do life together and they discuss life issues. And it's not really ran per se off of the life group director or leader. Mainly the youth runs it, so they're not lectured. You know, we just pretty much are there to listen and to even guide them and help them cope through their situation and for their healing as well.
Great.
Yeah.
And the children, how are they taking it? How do they
Oh
take
my
it
goodness, it's you have no idea. I'm actually
Are you
blown
keeping
away.
them from the streets,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
from
We
life
are.
of crime?
Yes, sir. Our pastor is.
Will you stop that yes sir stuff?
Sure. Sure. I'll just say yes.
Don't let Renati intimidate you, okay? Because I'm only being fine. Look, see, his mouth is open.
I mean, she's making me look bad. I came here, I'm talking about football. She's talking about stuff that we need.
It's just a habit. I was raised to say yes, sir, and no, sir, yeah. So it's a habit.
Okay. Dish that habit right now, okay?
Okay, I will.
Because Renard doesn't want to look old. He doesn't want to sound old.
Hey, I'm going to look old next to her anyway, so it's going to happen. I got to deal with it.
To look it and feel it is two different things.
This is very true.
But you know, that sir, yes sir. Yes,
I was
sir.
recently
Makes you feel
told
old.
today.
Okay.
Feel old. Huh?
Yeah.
I was recently told today that on my pictures I look around 38, 39, but in person 27, 28. So I did something right.
Well, what's the real one?
38, 39.
30. Well, okay, mine is 78, 80.
Wow.
You're doing something right, and I hope to be doing that right by the time I'm your age then.
Well, you got to just take a different attitude, that's all. Talk about barbecue and pork chops and chicken and...
See, grilled food is healthy.
Yeah,
it's the
grilled.
fried food is the problem.
It's the non-food that's the problem.
Okay.
That's not food. Anything that you got to cook, if you have to cook it, it's not food.
Oh, okay.
But if you just want to cook it, and if you don't cook all the substance out of it, it's still food.
This is good. I
No,
said this
no,
is
I
good
get-
information.
Oh.
I can't dispute it. I gotta listen. I was taught to listen and take stuff in from time to time. So you giving me some good advice, I gotta listen.
Very good. I like that about him, don't you,
Yes.
Erica?
It's awesome.
Well, thank you.
But see, the world has done us such an injustice, not just America, but the whole world. First off, we don't have an educational system. You agree to that?
I agree that it needs to be worked on
Worked on in what way?
in a lot of ways. My degree is actually in early childhood education, so I serve.
So you believe in that?
I believe that there needs to be improvement. Yes,
Okay.
I do.
I come from a product of a CPS teacher, so I do believe we have excellent teachers. One of the things that I personally had this conversation with another person recently, one of the best hires that President Obama did was Arnie Duncan. The reason why I like Arnie Duncan is he has worked in larger school systems so that some of the larger metropolitan areas could be concentrated on, because many places around the country, the smaller suburban districts have always had bigger funding. Arnie Duncan's position of understanding how the larger school districts needed to be concentrated on has,
Did you notice his height?
oh yeah, he great basketball player.
Okay. Now, Barack, you notice his height?
Yes.
All right. In order for him to have a good basketball game, he had to have a guy there in Washington with him.
Well, it doesn't hurt that that Arnie Duncan played for Princeton, so that does not hurt.
Right. Okay. See, the idea is, though, I agree that we have great teachers. So great that they're able to break through a lot of that maze. In fact, I know of a teacher once that gave me the insight when I was 3 years old by refusing to help her son. She was a teacher, and she refused to help her son do any homework. She gave him the work. Here, this is your work. This is your homework, you know. And she refused to give him any help beyond what she had already told them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, education, spelling, arithmetic, reading, writing, it's all universal. And if it's universal, it's inside you. All you got to do is think it out, bring it out, and deal with what's in front of you. Okay, and remember, anything you see anybody else doing, you can do, because what they can do is universal. So if you see to prove that, one of our Surgeon Generals in the state of Illinois was chosen by Jim Thompson. Thompson was the longest serving governor. He chose this guy because of his brilliant skills in neurosurgery.
Mm.
He was very noted all over the world. He wrote books and, went through the whole gamut of being a great surgeon, and a great speaker, a great teacher, a great orator. And he served most of Jim Thompson's time as the Surgeon General.
Yeah.
So when Thompson stepped down and Jim Edgar took over, he issued a notice to all of his cabinet members, all the cabinet members.
Yeah.
He said, we're all Republicans, so I'm going to keep a lot of you, but some I'm going to dismiss. So I want everybody to give me a resignation letter. And some I will keep, as I said, and I'm not promising I'm going to keep everybody. I will get rid of some of you because I'll eliminate some positions, because I don't think we need all these positions. And Edgar even said, undercoverly, he said, we need some blacks in the cabinet. He said, Jim, Thompson only had one black, which was traditional. When I got my license as a private detective in 1964, it was one black in the cabinet. He was the director of Department of Professional Regulation. And he said, we got to change that. So everybody turned their resignations in except the Surgeon General. And Edgar said, wait a minute now, I can't bother this guy because he's too well known and he's got too much clout. So he told the state police, he said, do me an investigation. Give me his background so I know exactly how to handle this. So they did a background investigation, brought it back to the governor. So what did you come up with? We come up with a person who did not finish grade school. I said, what? Yes, he did not finish grade school. So then they called him in. And now he feels good, right? I can fire this guy. And asked him, how did you do this? He said, well, I was an orderly in a hospital. And every day I would see the brain surgeons operating. And I said, man, that's easy. I think I could do that.
Wow.
So he got a little closer and watched a little closer and saw what organs should not be touched. And decided, okay, he went to another hospital. Well, first he went to a friend's house who had a computer and made himself a diploma.
Wow.
From a foreign state. And that's strange because my diploma came from a foreign state, but it was not that type of foreign state. Mine came from London. But anyway, he made up the diploma and went to this hospital, gave him his resume about all the things he had done in this foreign state. And he said, okay, we'll hire you as a neurosurgeon.
Wow.
They hired him and put him with the team, and he watched for about a month. He watched the others perform, and he would help out, by giving them different things that they would need.
Wow.
And then they finally said, okay, we need to see what you do. Now it's your turn.
Wow.
And he performed a suture that they had never seen before.
Wow.
And went right to the point of where the problem was. So they sewed it back up, and the man was okay.
Wow.
Wow! So they named that suture after him.
Wow.
And everybody tried to do it. Now everybody's copying off him, trying to do his suture.
Wow, that is amazing.
And
That is
that's how he
awesome.
became famous, because they called it, I can't remember his name, but they say the Joseph suture, a suture. And he lectured all over the world about that suture. That's how he became so noted.
Wow, that's
And-
powerful.
Jim Thompson hired him as the Surgeon General for the state of Illinois. And he was still traveling and come back once in a while and perform little duties here and then go back. Phew. So then, you won't find that any place.
Yeah, that's
You won't
true.
find it in Google right now. I've Googled, tried to find some information on it. They don't mention it at all.
Wow.
It was in the beginning, but now it's gone and you won't see anything about it. Because it was an embarrassment to the longest serving governor in the state of Illinois and the state of Illinois, period.
Wow.
So they got rid of that. But that actually happened. So, that gives rise to the fact that you can do anything you see anybody else do.
That's true.
So I teach my yoga students, if you see a man flying through the air, don't get excited. Just say, oh, we can fly too, huh?
Mm.
Find him and find out what he does, and do the same thing.
Wow. That's so encouraging.
To encourage. Sure.
I
You're
voted
right.
for a while. My first presidential election that I voted in would have been the second term of President Clinton.
Okay. So, you think your vote meant anything?
The Electoral College says so.
You think your vote meant something?
I think so, too. Yeah.
Think about that now. When Bush ran against Gore, who had been the vice president for Clinton, Gore beat him.
It's a similar argument to why they developed the House of Representatives and the Senate back with the 13 colonies. The Electoral College is a combination of how many senators and how many representatives you have in your state. But with that in mind, they were basically saying there was one there was one group of people that said, no matter how big your state is, we should all have equal vote. That's why it's 2 senators for every state. But then there's the group of people that felt like, well, the larger the population, we should have a bigger say. I understand that my vote may not be, the popular vote may not be immediately representative of what the Electoral College elects. What my vote gives me is the ability to complain. Because if I don't vote, I don't get to complain. But since I voted, I get to complain.
Okay, you can complain all your butt off, but how is it going to help?
Well, in an argument, in any argument, let's remove the presidential campaign out of it. If I'm having an argument with you and someone asks me, well, what did you do about it? If I've done nothing about it, how can I complain? If I voted for someone, back to electing someone, if I have not voted, then how do I get to have an argument about that election? I have voted, so I get to, that is me standing up and saying something.
Right.
On down from the wards, the alderman you vote for your ward, on up to your mayor and beyond. I don't just vote in the presidential elections. I vote in every election, on down to the judge, the sheriff of the county, my alderman. I pay attention to all of that. I mean, a lot of people don't pay attention to it, but your block club president matters to that alderman. And that alderman matters to that mayor. That mayor,
See, you're going too far.
and I don't believe I'm going to.
We're talking about one thing: the president.
All of
I'll
those
let you
things
go to the
matter.
congressman. Yeah,
All of those things matter.
But yeah, the point is, did your vote count?
Yes, it counted.
Okay, you could vote for Gore or you voted for Bush.
I voted for Gore.
Okay, then your vote didn't count.
Not true.
Listen. A group of people who felt just like you felt filed a complaint in the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
We voted for Gore, and they put good Bush in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make sense. We want you to judge, judges. We want you to do your job. The chief judge said, "Where's Mr. Gore?" "Oh, he's not here, Your Honor." "Well, we can't have a hearing without the victim." He said, "We're the victim. We voted for him." No. Mr. Gore is the victim. We give you 1 week to get him here. They contacted Mr. Gore. Mr. Gore said, "I'm playing golf." Mr. Gore said, "I don't want to go lay down next to Kennedy. I don't want to lay down next to Kennedy. I know it's not my turn, so you all go and take care of that."
There have been arguments. One could argue, had it become President Al Gore, would we have had the ability to see President Barack Obama?
What would stop that?
It's not what would have stopped it. It would have been the reality of so many people wanted a change from.
Let's take a break before we go any further.
Okay.
Because you can't go any place because we're in the middle of something.
Okay.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Good job.
International Detective and Protective Services, 1-773-675-8506. Over 20 years of armed security experience. The very best in shopping mall security, inventory watch, find missing loved ones, investigative open legal cases, community policing. Are you taking a vacation this summer? For peace of mind, you need our House Watch service, cheetah surveillance, and much more. International Detective and Protective Services, 1-773-675-8506. That's 1-773-675-8506. Call now.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Golden's Tropical World. Come to Golden's Tropical World for tropical fish of all sizes, colors, and types, and other small animals like iguanas and birds from all over the world. There are beautiful tanks, pet supply needs, including dog and cat foods, and expert consultation. Check out Golden's Tropical World, 8611 South Ashland Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Call ahead, 773-239-8809. Your pet shop.
That's low. That's low.
Look, he's blushing.
Seriously.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. It's like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
International Detective and Protective Services, 1-773-675-8506. Over 20 years of armed security experience. The very best in shopping mall security, inventory watch, find missing loved ones, investigative open legal cases, community policing. Are you taking a vacation this summer? For peace of mind, you need our House Watch service, cheetah surveillance, and much more. International Detective and Protective Services, 1-773-675-8506. That's 1-773-675-8506. Call now.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
But that's what I was going to, that's more or less where I was going to answer the question before we went to commercial.
We're back on air. So anyway, go ahead.
You were asking me about why do I not believe, or I'm not going to say he would not have become, President Obama would not have become president anyway, but one of the things that people forget, when President Obama ran, there was an attitude of we need change, and that's where he ran on a platform of change. People were so tired of what happened for the last 8 years that everyone wanted to run away from traditional politics. So President Obama ran on the platform of change. Arguably, and I'm not going to say that it would have been necessary, but arguably, if it had become President Al Gore, who's to say President Obama would have been coming up in the ranks in that aspect? I can go back to history when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. If Bobby Kennedy is not assassinated, arguably we could say that we probably would have had a black president long before President Obama came into office, because Bobby Kennedy's platform was much more about inclusiveness and the people that he had following him. But literally, I was thoroughly upset when President Bush, or Baby Bush, or the son Bush, however you want to call it, was put into office over Al Gore, because I will agree with you, the Supreme Court picked our president as opposed to us voting for that particular president. But I am happy, things happened the way they did because things happened for a reason, and we have President Obama all because of what happened prior to him.
See, we have Barack Obama because that's who they wanted.
Okay, but would we have wanted him had the headache prior to him hadn't happened?
It was all planned, so you couldn't stop that.
It was planned, and I won't disagree with you, but would we have wanted President Obama?
They knew that.
Okay.
You're asking rhetorical questions. They knew that already. They knew that in the beginning. They knew that everybody knew what was going to happen, including Gore.
Okay.
Okay, they knew what was going to happen. So it moved to this point. And it's all about, it ain't got nothing to do with saving the country and fighting for the country. It's got something to do with gold, diamonds, ore, bauxite, rainforest. Touch a nerve?
No, I mean, a lot of people have made the comment that Al Gore has become much more powerful since losing the presidency than he ever had when he ran for president.
Right. I mean, look at Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton ran for president, and he's on two nationwide medias, radio and television.
Yeah.
But, and this little boy I helped raise. But I think I'm proud of him. You know, he's doing a good job. He's doing a very good job with what he does. You know, keeping the illusion going, keeping people motivated that change is going to come. But it's not going to happen until we all decide change is going to come. Anytime we decide change is going to come, change comes. It just doesn't last. You know, the Blackstone Rangers brought about a change in black folks. Some
Yes.
of you, you know that?
Yes.
How do you think it happened?
The earliest foundation of many gangs throughout the U.S.
No,
I'm just going to be just similar to the similarities is about change within the community. And what we can do for the community. Some of the things that are most noted are the free lunch programs, and what we can do for the community has come out of
the Black Panthers.
The Black Panthers, and they were called a gang, but also the Vice Lords, what they did for the community, and the monies that they brought to the different neighborhoods, the community programs that the Crips and the Bloods in their early days brought to the LA communities that existed.
But you know what, I want her to talk a little bit. She's sitting back listening and learning.
Yes, it's
okay,
so good.
We need some of your wisdom too. Your husband will whip you if you come home with all this wisdom and didn't at least give some tidbits of what he does.
Yes, absolutely.
And how would he think? What would he feel about this subject that we're having?
Well, my husband Isaac, he's not really into politics as much. He does believe in like learning and what's going on and making a conscious decision on who to vote for, but he's not really into like politics. So that's why I'm sitting here, because you both have so much wisdom, and I'm learning a lot from you. Absolutely.
And Gerard too.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. It's amazing.
I have a lot of family members that have done a lot, and when you are from a large family, maybe my immediate family might not be large, but any family, we pay attention.
What I understand is that everything you're saying is what was planted in our brains for us to think. And you had the wisdom and the intelligence to grasp it and hold on to it, and you can repeat it back. I know that you're telling the truth in what you're saying, but that's not the way it was meant.
Okay.
You know, it was all about what you said at first. But anyway, go ahead, Erica.
No, that was pretty much it.
That was it?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about elections as a whole?
I think elections.
You've been doing it almost 10 years now.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think the system is important. The government is important. It brings order to our country. Do I believe in like everything that goes on? You know, no. I mean, you know, there's pros and cons to everything. But I'm not, you know, I know enough to vote, but I'm not really, I don't feel necessarily, my passion isn't politics. So that's why I'm soaking in everything right now and what you all have to say, because it is important. Every passion is important. Everyone who's called to different things, like my degree was in early childhood, but I'm going to school to be a physician. So what you were talking about, neurosurgeons, it was really awesome. So everyone is called to different things and have passion.
That's true.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's a shame that all of us don't get an opportunity to follow through with it, because we don't know our powers. We don't know how powerful we are.
I agree, yeah.
You know, but, you know, politics is really not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, the politicians in the city work for you. They actually work for you.
That's true.
Now, the federal government politicians, some of them were working for you, but half of them are working for the plutocracy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the plutocracy is, right?
Not in detail, no, please expound.
No? That's the individuals who control the governments of the world.
Mm.
It's 100 families.
Oh.
Richest families in the world. And you could only name one.
Really? How can you find out the 100?
You won't. You won't. Some of them may be 1,000 years old.
Wow. Wow.
You didn't look surprised. You didn't act surprised. Wow.
Yeah, no, I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you read about it in the Bible. You read about Methuselah. Was it 967?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't quite make it, but you know, a lot of folks say, well, the Bible, I mean, during that time, the calendar was much shorter. I said, baloney. The calendar is universal. It is what it is. It has been that way since the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say for sake of argument, it was only 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You would still be 980 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, not 900, I'm sorry, 480 some years.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you saying? How many of us live in 480 some years now? Oh, you said it was only 6 months? I mean, only 3 months? That's still 200 and something. How many of us are living that long? So to give you how silly it sounds when you say the calendar was shorter, that's why they live so long.
Yeah.
You're trying to say the calendar was only 2 weeks old. 2 weeks long.
Yes.
But on a serious tip, it's all there. The age thing is one of the truths. You know, that a person lives according to their own understanding.
Yes.
And some understand that they have infinite life,
Mm-hmm.
and some thinks that they're dying.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yeah.
And your spirit is going to God, and your body is going to the grave.
Yeah.
But it's not true.
Mm.
Your body is that's your vehicle that you carry around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When you get tired of that body, regardless of what age it is, you shed it and you keep moving. And if you have not gotten all of your faculties intact, you just get in another body and come back again until you keep doing it until you get it right. And when you get it right, it's all over. But it's still you. Well, some people understand when they are in another body. They understand some of their past life because they have lived enough time to do it, and they want to come back. They want to come back and build a car that can run thousands of miles, okay, on a battery.
Mm.
They want to build a building to almost touch the sky, because they've seen the technology. So I'm going to come back and build a John Hancock, or build a Sears Towers, or build a Tesla. You know about the Tesla, right?
I love Teslas. That's my favorite car.
That's your favorite car?
Yeah.
Good. What about you, Gerard?
Do I know about it?
Yeah.
Of course.
Do you want one?
No.
No? You want to keep with the gas, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I know what my specific vehicle is. It's a gas guzzling vehicle. But, oh well. I wouldn't mind having it as one of my vehicles, but
I agree with you. It would be just one of mine.
The Model S is a nice vehicle. Tesla Model S is a very nice vehicle. My dream vehicle is a gas guzzling SUV. I know which one it is. Not going to give them unnecessary endorsement, but it is a gas guzzling SUV.
I got an SUV that, as you drive down the street, the hand does this.
I can believe it.
As you drive down it, I said, man, the hand is actually moving right in my face.
Yeah.
Let me park this thing.
Yes.
So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, life is just like that, though. You know, life has put us in a position where we cannot do anything but what society wants us to do, because they got laws, they got people with guns, and you don't have guns. Oh, no, I have one now. You may not be able to have one, but I got one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't mean that concealed carry thing either. They put that in. They put that. See, now this is what the public allows them to do. They got it so a person who's working midnights and he doesn't have a car, what good would a concealed carry do him when he got to ride the bus? They say you can't carry a gun on the bus. Stores have signs that say no guns. So what good is a concealed carry?
It's no good.
See, someone needs to go back to the Supreme Court and point that out. Hey, it's no fun to, you drive your car and you see a sign, you're getting ready to park and go into a store. Okay, I'm talking about everybody now, not just the gun carriers. You're getting ready to park and go into a store and you see a sign that says no guns. By the time this thing is maximized where everybody's carrying guns who want to carry a gun, how many cars are going to be broken into on these lots? People looking for guns. Because they told them on the news, they told all the people on the news, you can't carry a gun in Sox Park or Soldier Field or any sporting events. And some stores have signs that you can't carry a gun. So you got to lock your gun in your trunk.
Yep.
The crooks heard that. So they're going to be breaking in cars. So I'm not parking my car any place where I see a sign that say no guns.
Yeah.
Unless I got someone sitting in it waiting, you know. So they don't. It's the politicians think that they run it, and we allowed them to think that they run it all these years. So they didn't want guns in the city of Chicago, although they're carrying guns all over the state, but not the city of Chicago.
1982 was recently repealed.
Huh?
The 1982 gun law that was challenged that recently was repealed in Chicago is the reason why concealed carry came into existence. Because there was a law that was put forth in 1982 that you could not have a handgun in the city limits.
Unless you had one up before the law came.
Right. Well, no, you could not own one unless it was quote unquote grandfathered in. But it wasn't until relatively recently where a man challenged that and took it to the Supreme Court and won. And that was the snowball that started going downhill that led us to what we now have as concealed carry.
That's true. See, but the Supreme Court, nobody had challenged it before the Supreme Court until Mr. McDonald did that.
Correct.
And when Mr. McDonald challenged that, said, I have a right to have a gun under the Second Amendment, and the Supreme Court said, you're right. And they said, you cannot restrict a citizen from carrying a weapon to protect themselves. You have a right to keep which means you can own, and bear, which means you can carry arms. So Richard M. Daley came out on the news and said, okay, the Supreme Court has spoken. You can have a gun in your home, but you can't bring it outside. You can't take it to your garage. You can't bring it on your porch, inside. You got that? Now people are sitting on the porch in the summertime, enjoying the weather. The little hoodlums riding by on their bike, know they don't have a weapon, so they shoot them, sitting on their porch in Inglewood. Now why that?
The misinformation.
Huh?
Misinformation.
No, you know, misinformation, it was directed.
No, but he was directing misinformation in that you can carry, you should have been and were allowed to carry a gun anywhere on your property, period. If your porch is your property, you're allowed to have it on your porch. The point was, he was trying to have control in a situation where control wasn't his.
But see, I wouldn't allow my people to arrest anyone. I was police chief in Phoenix. I was actually the captain, but I was actually the chief. So figured out. But I ran the department. The chief was part-time and I was full-time. I was chief of police in Maywood, Illinois, in the Park District. And I would not allow my people to arrest a person for carrying a gun open. If the gun is open and you can see it, the law says, and I quote, it is illegal to carry concealed on or about your person any firearm. It goes on to tell what firearms they're talking about. So concealed on or about your person, but if it's out open, see, Milwaukee let it be known that it's a concealed weapon that's illegal. Not open. You can open carry all you want.
That's why in many places, the state of Texas is known for it, but you have millions of people walking around with gun holsters. Because it's in a gun holster and everyone can see it, it's not breaking the law. It's the moment you try to put that jacket over it that it becomes concealed.
Concealed, right. Now you're carrying a concealed weapon and it's illegal.
But if you have it in a holster and everyone can see it, it's not a concealed weapon. The moment you put that jacket on around it, it changes the rules.
Well, see, I went to the state's attorney in the late 60s, I think, when Hanrahan was the state's attorney. He knew me. And I told him, Ed, I got to talk with you. I had done total research. My PhD is in criminology. And he said, what do you want to talk about, W.R.? I said, you got to stop the police from arresting my people. Arresting your people? I said, yeah, for carrying weapons. You know they shouldn't be carrying a weapon on the street. I said, why can't they carry a weapon on the street? They're private detectives, they're security officers, they're investigators. Why can't they carry weapons? He said, because the law says you can't carry a weapon. I said, the law doesn't say that. He said, what does the law say? I said, the law says it's illegal to carry on or about your person any conceal on or about your person any weapon. He said, okay, but you can't carry a weapon, period. Whether it's concealed or not. I said, yeah, what law school did you go to? So he said, okay. Assuming that the guy has the weapon in a holster, it's concealed, it's partially concealed. If he has it stuck down his belt, it's partially concealed. I said, okay, I see you did not go to law school. I said, you got your license through email or something? It wasn't email at the time. I said, some mail, I told him. So he said, okay. He said, what do you want? I said, let me explain something to you. I said, what is a peace officer? Now I said, who can carry weapons? He said, all peace officers. I said, what is a peace officer? Who is a peace officer? He said, a sheriff, marshal, police officer. He went on and named all the public officials. I said, okay, why don't you read the definition of peace officer? It said, anyone who by virtue of his office or public employment is vested with the duty to maintain public order or to make an arrest, whether that duty extends to all arrests or is limited to specific arrests. I said, okay, now what is that telling you? Just what I told you. I said, why don't you read it again and get it in your head? Anyone who by virtue of his office, I said, hold it right there. He said, oh, you stuck on the office thing. I said, right. Okay, I said, who do you know that has an office? He said, well, they're talking about the alderman. I said, alderman is a public employee. State's attorney, I said, that's a public employee. I said, anything you can name other than a private detective or private security person who's vested with those duties, I'll kiss you someplace. He said, no. He said, I said, well, listen. I said, my people work in stores all over the city of Chicago and a lot of states, a lot of other cities in the state. I said, they perform duties as store detectives, they lock up shoplifters, they maintain order, they do everything that the audience just said your office can perform. They're not public employees, but they have an office to perform those duties. And I said, read the state law to tell you that they can perform those duties. So I told him that statute. He went and said, where it said a private detective can patrol residential areas. They can do governmental investigations for the government. Whole bunch of things. Then he finally said, okay, W, okay, you got me. But there's nothing I could do about it. I said, what do you mean there's nothing you could do about it? He said, well, you said I'm the state's attorney of Cook County, but the mayor of Chicago is the chairman of the Democratic Party for Cook County. The chairman chooses who run for these various offices. If I went against him in something like this, I would never be nominated to run again. I said, what do you mean go against him? The mayor told everyone in authority, we got to keep the guns out of the hands of black people. There's too many black people who are security officers in the state to have them running around with guns without being governmentally supervised. I said, they are government No. They're supervised by you. Right, and I'm supervised by the state. Okay, that sounds good. He said, but the mayor ain't gonna go for that. I said, okay, then we have to do something else to expose it. He said, wait, hold it. What are you talking about? I said, we have to expose what you guys are doing. He said, W, you promised you wasn't gonna say anything. I said, well, listen. He said, all right, let me tell you. He said, I'm gonna have my people not to prosecute your people if they're arrested. He said, I can't stop them from arresting them. That's the city of Chicago. He said, but if they arrest them and bring them before us, they will not be prosecuted. But you can't tell anybody this. If you tell somebody, and I find out about it, or I get in trouble, he said, I still got 3 years to go. He said, I'll hound you out of office in those 3 years. I said, okay, you got a bet, you got a deal. But I went straight to my organization and told them what I found. I said, get the organizational lawyer to go to him with this research and make him, force him to do something about it. He looked at me, man, you got to be crazy. You come up with these harebrained ideas. He said, I'm not going to do anything like that. You go tell Henry Ann that. I said, I am. I have. I said, I'm giving you an opportunity. He said, no. He said, you can't do that. And they all laughed. I said, okay. So I walked out. And for 3 years, I experienced, the first guy that was arrested, I sit in the courtroom, not yet. I sit in the courtroom, and he said, What? Oh, they said, what happened here? What's wrong with this case? What about this case? They got me discombobulated. He said, well, Your Honor, this young man works for a private detective agency, the WLO, Bureau of Investigation, and he was carrying his weapon. The judge said, does he have his credentials? Sure. The judge is in on it. You knew what was happening. He passed up the credentials. Okay, case dismissed. What about his gun, Your Honor? Give him his gun back. So reach it over in the policeman's hand, take the guns out, and put it in the guy's hand. The policeman stand there. What the hell just happened? They're supposed to be the prosecutor. They're supposed to be my lawyer, not his lawyer. So the second time it happened, it didn't happen again because the word got around, man, don't mess with those little guys because they got some kind of weird clout that make you look like a fool in court. So it got to a point where if one of my guys was stopped for a red light, he was treated like a policeman. He showed his star. Oh, go ahead, man. You know. So wow. I enjoyed that for 3 years. And then the state's attorney in that particular courtroom resigned and ran for state legislature. And the first thing he did was enact a law, or put forth a law that would restrict the powers of a private security officer. Mm-hmm. They still had the same powers, but they wrote into the law who can carry a weapon, who can't. They said a security officer can carry a weapon while traveling to and from work as long as that commutation takes 1 hour or less to or from. So that's what they started arresting them on then if they got caught. But still, I fixed that by putting them on duty when they leave home and take them off duty when they get back home.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So,
wow.
And we won that battle. But anyway, guys, just a little history on that gun thing, Gerard. And I appreciate you guys. I would like some parting words from the two of you. What would you like the audience to know about?
There's a lot of intense things going on. What I do for fun is to break the monotony of the intensity. That's why I enjoy talking about sports. That's why we have Football Fan Rush Radio. And that's why, with all the madness going on in the world, everyone needs an outlet, and that's my outlet, and I'd like people to enjoy it with me.
Great.
Yes, well, my closing statement would be that, like you mentioned about politics, the government system, and your awesome history and how much wisdom you have, that, you know, in the midst of a chaotic world, just turn to Jesus, pray, and he'll definitely give you peace in the midst of it all.
Well, thank you very much,
Yes.
guys.
Thank you.
My pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed these young folks who have a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight on what's going on, a lot of insight on what's going to happen when you leave here. We'll see you this time tomorrow. Welcome to Straight Talk. 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 Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk. Welcome to Straight Talk.